Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. The double standard strikes once again. Remember the infamous moment of Donald Trump walking down that ramp? The context to that story is that the ramp was slippery and Donald Trump was wearing leather bottom shoes. Anybody who knows anything about bespoke shoes knows how slippery those bottom soles can be, especially on the wrong surface. But even though we'd seen 4 years of Donald Trump barely sleeping, bouncing around, playing golf, tweeting, doing interviews, doing events, clearly the guy was fit, I'd argue even beyond fit, extremely alert and active for his age, the media took that one clip, totally omitting the actual context, and argued for weeks on end that Donald Trump should resign from office or the 25th Amendment should be used. They pressured him to get a medical exam and then pressured him to do the Montreal cognitive test, which he then subsequently aced.
Right over there, my doctor, he said, you know, sir, if you want, you're really smart, you ought to take the cognitive test. I said, oh, what's that? Doc Ronnie, right? Now we call him Mr. Congressman. What a job you've done, Ronnie. They went after him, and it didn't work out too well. There you are. The Democrats went after him like you wouldn't believe. But he did a test. Did I ace it? Yes, sir. I aced it. And I'd like to see Biden ace it.
That was the standard with Donald Trump. But now with Joe Biden, a president where the 25th Amendment would be actually justified, all of a sudden they've changed their tune. This right here is why people can't stand the mainstream media, because they're vicious, partisan liars. They're clearly playing a game, and they do it all while pretending to be neutral sources of fact-based information. Give me a frickin' break. Joe Biden was just captured during a visit to Rehoboth Beach, and apparently this guy is the fit and healthy one, and Donald Trump is the one that's too old, out of shape, and cognitively impaired. Let's get into what these leftoids are saying. Let's take a look at the clip. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, I present to you President Joe Biden. Physically, I think it's even worse than most people realize. That story that I always refer to when I make these videos, that Joe Biden literally can't be around wires. He can't do media events in his own office because they can't set up cameras there because they're worried that he's going to trip on them. Joe Biden literally can't walk. I mean, just take a look at what we just saw. This is Joe Biden in his natural habitat. He's not just old and frail, he's extremely frail. This is competitive push-up Joe. This is the guy who Democrats keep claiming is in tip-top shelf and ready to go. In fact, even after Joe Biden's little beach visit, all the leftist hacks on Twitter posting stuff like this, showing side-by-side photos of Joe Biden and Donald Trump. The man on the left is a good, kind person who cares about the people and works extremely hard. Yeah, Joe Biden is a good, kind person who cares so much about people except for his 7th grandchild. Absolute piece of you-know-what. The man on the right is the twice impeached, twice indicted, disgraced former president, who's now a proven... I can't even finish that sentence. It's so despicable and so slanderous. Democrat Ana Navarro jumped on the same bandwagon. The difference between these two men is only 3 years. Oh, and 2 impeachments, 6 bankruptcies, and 2 indictments so far, resulting in 71 felony counts. These people are unbelievable, and the implication she's making is that there's only a 3-year difference, but Joe Biden is in such better shape than Donald Trump. Really, Joe Biden, who literally can't walk, is in better shape than Donald Trump. Hole-in-one Donald Trump.
President made a hole-in-one, 180-yard 5-iron. Let's see.
It's there. That's great.
There it is.
That's great. Thank you.
I think this side-by-side comparison that Tim Young made on Twitter is a whole lot more accurate.
So,
we got the man.
as you might expect for International Fight Week, a lot of people are in the building, but no one needs more security than the former president of the United States, obviously a really good friend of Dana White.
Oh my word, I mean listen, he's a massive massive 500, and that just shows how big this event is.
You know, obviously we know the reality here, and my issue on this topic specifically isn't even necessarily with Joe, because, I mean, if you're in that state and people are electing you president and telling you that, you know, you're the greatest thing since sliced bread, then you probably just go with it and you convince yourself in your own mind that you're fit and adequate for the job. You know, many men just don't want to retire and their ego and their pride is too big, so I don't necessarily blame Joe, but the people who voted for this man and the people who continue to defend this man, you know, Harry Sisson and Ana Navarro, I question how someone can be so dishonorable, so disreputable, so dishonest. How is it possible to tweet the kind of nonsense that these people are tweeting? How is it possible to know clearly, very well, that Joe Biden is the way that he is, to know that he's clearly unfit, that he's clearly sick, physically unable to walk, mentally unable to talk, and to go on Twitter knowing that you're lying, knowing that you're straight up pushing partisan propaganda, knowing that you're being a shill, to release these tweets making these points as if Joe Biden is so much more physically fit than Donald Trump. It's unreal. It's crazy to me, and it's why we call these people disingenuous Democrats. They are the most dishonest, partisan people, partisan hacks on planet Earth. You know, the way Joe Biden is actually guilty of illegally holding classified documents, the way Democrats can completely ignore it and then justify this ridiculous witch hunt and even glorify and celebrate the investigation and use it as a political talking point that he's facing felony charges. You know, it falls almost on like borderline sociopathic behavior. The double standards and the lies are completely ridiculous. And look, just on this Joe Biden beach video, it's multiple double standards actually. Not only the physically and mentally fit element, you don't see the media pushing for Joe Biden to do a cognitive or physical test, you don't see the media calling for the 25th Amendment, but we're also not seeing the media or Democrats be outraged over the fact that Joe Biden spends most of his time on vacation. You know, Donald Trump played golf relatively often throughout his first term in office, and it was a huge story. It was a huge talking point. The media wouldn't shut up about it. Donald Trump's playing golf again. Oh, here's a calendar showing how many times Donald Trump has played golf this month. Even though a lot of the times that Donald Trump was playing golf, he was playing with other foreign leaders, you know, as diplomatic work, or playing golf with business leaders, politicians, discussing policy. The guy was actually working while playing golf in a certain way. Joe Biden, on the other hand, is just on vacation all the time. Biden takes heat for spending 40% of his days in office on vacation. Biden's weekend jaunts and vacations span 234 days, with 7 in 10 of them being spent at his homes in Wilmington and Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, out of 589 days in office. The guy's just biking on the beach, going for a bike ride, soaking in the sun, going for a little ice cream stop. The same standard doesn't apply. And you know what? I'm going to be as fair as possible. Is Joe Biden able to work? I mean, he has a cell phone. He's still technically on call, sure, but the leftist media never gave Donald Trump the benefit of the doubt. No, of course not. So why does Joe Biden deserve it? That's the point I'm trying to make. It's an endless double standard as the media tries to fix the narrative, creating their precious little alternative leftist reality, which even they know is total BS. You know, Joe Biden's claiming that he's not going to step aside.
You've often said when people ask you about your age, just watch me. And I think a lot of people do watch you and are impressed, and they think you've been a great president. You've brought the economy back. You've restored relations with the world. But many of these people do say, and these are ardent supporters of yours, the next thing he should do is step aside and let another generation of Democrats take the baton. Why are they wrong?
Well, let me, not right or wrong. Look, to use the phrase again, I think we're at an inflection point. I think the world is changing, and I think there is one thing that comes with age if you've been honest about it your whole life, and that is some wisdom.
His age isn't a factor. You have leftoids defending him, while at the same time there's a massive campaign going on to literally replace him as a Democrat nominee because he's too old, too mentally shot. Here's another article this week, the one of, 100 that we've covered. When is the optimal time for Biden to drop out of the race? You can't have your cake and eat it too. Joe Biden's the greatest president. Totally competent. So much more competent than Donald Trump. While also at the same time, we need to replace this guy because he's lost his damn mind. Let's just sum it up by saying these people are such stinking liars. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. You know that we'd love to have you here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.